Alright, so this is the video I mentioned on my Instagram story. Kind of doing another point shoe prep, break-in, all that stuff, but also as a kind of video for people who don't know as much about ballet, like the difference between shoes, what goes into wearing point shoes, because people think you can just take them out of the box and wear them, and I don't know very many people who can, except for maybe Gain or Minden's, which are a whole different story. So I wanted to start by saying ballet shoes, there are different types. Ballet flats or ballet slippers, when people talk about those, I've never called them slippers, but some people do, are the flat shoes. So you can get them in different styles, they come in canvas or leather, and then they also come like split, like these are completely split at the sole to make your arch look better. I like those a lot. But I also have a pair of like regular ones where the sole is still split but not completely, like there's still fabric there, and mine are both leather versions, block ones. I have had canvas ones, but I actually really prefer the leather ones. I just think they feel better and they're more comfortable once they break into your feet. So these are ballet flats or ballet slippers. Point shoes, or I guess some people call them toe shoes. I've never called them that. Look like this. Is a really beat up pair. I have all of mine here. This is less beat up. They look similar to this. You have a hard box here, so if I bang them together, it is not wood, contrary to popular belief. It is layers of paper mache, kind of like paste and materials. So that's why dancers need new shoes a lot, because over time, like you're dancing a lot, your feet are sweating in these, it's breaking down. You can kind of extend the life with things like jet glue and shellac, but it's still not going to do that much. Like professional dancers go through shoes a week. I do not. Like I think this pair is now pretty much dead, but this is the Buck Heritage. They die a little quicker. These probably took me a couple months for them to be really not supportive anymore. And so when they say they're dead and we can't use them, either something completely like failed in them, like they're just like ripped and you can't make it work, like if the satin rips, but mostly you're talking about either the box, which is this hard part, has died. So there could be, like if it's really soft, you want to kind of feel the floor, but you also don't want to be sinking into the floor because that hurts. So these give you some support when you're on them, but also the shank, which is this part back here, gives you support as well. When this dies out and is no longer supportive, it's not going to be safe to dance in. So that's what I mean when shoes are dead. Now some people do like professionals, and some people like to dance in shoes that are almost dead because they make your feet look the best. And your feet for ballet are supposed to look, they call it banana feet, like they're supposed to be very archy and everything. I don't have those, but I work with what I got. So that's kind of point shoe. I don't know that I need to go over all the other parts, but so you got the box, you got the shank. You do have to sew ribbons and elastic on them. They do not come sewn. People were shocked when they found that out. So like, here's a pair of my blocks. This is how they come. Nothing. Sometimes I will do like I did with these, and I will only sew elastics because sometimes it's just a pain to have to worry about your ribbons all the time. But it also depends on if your teacher allows you to do that and things. So the other ones I was talking about where I said that they're pretty much ready out of the box are called Gain or Minden's. They come in colorful little bags like this. They are not made like a traditional shoe of like paste and material. They are made more of like plasticky material. They still have satin, but the inside, and they're still hard, but they're not as hard, but they don't break down the same. So more with these, what you're getting is the shoes are like damaged on the outside, like the satin's all ripped off and things like that. I do have like one pair where it's like less supportive, but it also is just kind of ugly looking now because I wore it a lot. But these don't die quite the same. So I have not had a pair of these really die. I've had a couple kind of, but I can still use them. So I don't know what it's like to be a professional with gainers dying and how that works. But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of point shoe 101. So I went today, I said I was going to get a pair based on what people on my ballet Instagram told me to try, just for the heck of it, because I have tried way too many shoes. I have a bucket right here and there's probably like 50 pairs or something in there. I like to try different shoes. I also have quite a few dead pairs in there, and there's some from when I was like a teenager that are still in there, so that was a long time ago. So I was going to go get the Block Serenade shoes because I've always wanted to try those. Everybody suggested them. They didn't sell them there, which I was kind of surprised because those are a pretty popular make. So I ended up getting, because it's one of the few there that I haven't tried, is the Mirella Whispers. So I was also told to try these, so I figured what the heck. So normally I wear a more tapered shoe. So tapered is this narrower box, whereas, hold up, this, you can kind of see the difference, is more broad and wider. So there's more to stand on. I like being able to stand on the broader ones because they give you more balance, but I have really compressible feet, so my feet don't fill out the wider shoes. So this is a little different because these are very narrow. These are not. So they come like this, box, bag. They come in different widths. I'm always in the skinny width. These are a 5-1X. But so coming straight out of the box, they're gonna look very nice and clean. These are actually pre-arched, which means this is kind of arched. So these are a little different than, say, when I get shoes like these. I didn't do as much to these ones, but with these, I don't think I even 3/4'd them. I don't know. So what I will do, and what 3/4ing means is you're taking out, oh I did, I just taped it back together. So you're taking out part of the inner shank. So I would cut mine, my foot arch is right about there. I would measure it. I cut out with an X-Acto knife part of the inner layer there. It's easier if I can find a shoe where I can pull it off and show you. Should have had that ready. Here's one, because my Russians, I always had to do that. So I cut out part of the shank that's in here so that my foot arches better with them and it bends with my foot. Then what I would also do is I will step on the box with my heel to flatten it a little bit. And then these ones in particular was the first time I did this, and it's okay. I took the satin off the tip for a little bit of extra grip on the floor and to keep the satin from just ripping off. And I also shaved down the sides here because I don't love when you're standing flat on pointe shoes and you're kind of rocking, because they aren't always the flattest on the bottom. Like, you've got that little ridge there. So with these, I again took an X-Acto knife and kind of shaved them down. You don't have to, I did. There's also different ways you can sew your ribbons. You can sew it like this through the middle, which I did because it kind of helps pull up my arches. But lately I've gone back to sewing it in a more traditional way with just one on each side because it's a little easier. I do like sewing my elastics on the heel because it helps. My heels are really narrow, so the satin tends to slip off my heels when I'm dancing, and this helps them not. I've done crisscross elastics. Those are fine too. Those are most of the modifications I would make. There's more in there in that bin. So a couple I've had to lower the vamp, which means the vamp is this part here, like basically kind of the throat of the shoe. I have really short toes, and if I have too long of a vamp, my feet can't arch over the shoe, and you want to be flat on the box of the shoe. You don't want to be pulled back, which I have a problem with sometimes. So in order to do that in a couple shoes, like in Freed's, I had to lower the vamp myself because it doesn't come that low. I can't wear Grishkos because the vamp is always too high. But like these ones have a nice little V-cut one, which helped more too. So there's just so many different variations of shoes. And then even with that, there's also the shank on the inside can come in different strengths. I think this was a regular, but they can come super strong. They can come super weak, like my Gainer mittens. I actually have the weakest shank, the Pianissimo, which like nobody wears. At least I feel like that, but I do. Because the other thing about having a weaker shoe, it causes you to work your feet a little harder, because I feel like since my shoes are so weak, I'm having to build the muscles in my feet and in my legs and ankles to stand taller in them. You don't want to like sink down in your shoes. You want to like pull up out of your shoes, which is really hard to remember when you're trying to remember every other thing about the step that you're doing. So I took a lot of time off again, and I'm still kind of in the beginner stages a little bit again, back with pointe work. My feet aren't strong anymore. My ankles are giving out again, which hasn't happened in years, things like that. So I've gone back to, I'll usually wear pointe shoes at the bar right now, just at the bar. because it's strengthening my feet. I've got the bar to hold on to, but then we go to center, especially if it's a hard class and I want to keep up, I'll just put my flats on and do center in the flats. I used to always try and wear my pointe shoes the entire class, which is really hard on my feet, but when I was stronger I could do it, and when it was an easier class I could do it. I haven't started this new studio yet, so I don't really know what the deal is there and how things are gonna go, so we'll see. But, so now I will show you a little bit of what I do to break in the shoes.